Hello, everyone who is watching the replay. Man, today has been completely and utterly amazing. I don't know about you guys, but following the people who have already gone live, it has made me starstruck, and it has even made me starstruck that Allison and Jacqueline have asked me to come and share with you guys. If I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you either in person or online, my name is Kimberly Pulito, and I am director for Team Positively Sensational, and I've already seen a couple of them jump on. And I am fingers crossed that I can get through this without any interruptions. I have the 10-year-old and the 18-month-old. They're in there, and I have bribed Arlo, the 10-year-old, that if he keeps Alora in there and happy and not in here, I'm going to take him to the fair. But just in case, I have goodies in here in case she decides to make her way in here. So, Facebook parties. Oh my goodness. Just how Facebook parties make some people just sweat. Home parties make me sweat. Like, just like how Carol was mentioning, like, I break out in hives. Like, I don't want to, I can't. If I have to do it, if someone wants me to, I am all about it. I did one last year, and it had amazing results. It's just not me. And what have we talked about all day today? Be authentically you. So Facebook parties is how I can be authentically me. And at the same time, I can put my best face forward. Just a little bit of background for me with Facebook parties is I grew up in Texas, and that is where I started my business. And I had plenty of home parties and basket parties and cala parties in Texas. And I really only dabbled in Facebook parties. And then it wasn't until my mentor and my sponsor / SSD, Edie Ann, started doing Facebook parties. I was like, oh man, I think I can try to do that. So she taught me everything she knows. And I know she's at an event today. I know she's going to watch this later, so I hope I make her proud. But Facebook events really came into play for me because I moved 1,500 miles across country to be with the person that I met online, by the way, on Instagram. It's a whole other story. But that's when Facebook parties really came into play because all of my customers were in Texas, and I had to find a way to keep them happy from 1,500 miles away, right? So if you are here to get a copy and paste template, or you want me to tell you exactly how to do a Facebook party, you're probably going to be really upset because that is not what I'm going to give you. But Vanessa. But what I will tell you is that I am going to give you the tips that I have given others that have been replicatable and duplicatable, which is what we want, right? We want to be able to teach people things that are duplicatable, that have been successful. Now, I did link, like once you finish watching this, up in the top, there is a link to the online virtual parties page. And that is where you can find templates or outlines that you can make your own. Because trust me, if you say y'all like me and it says you guys or wicked in the template, right? Like your customers are going to know that that is not you, right? So you need to take the things that are in that group and the things that I'm saying to you today and make it your own. That is what your customers want to see. And what Allison mentioned before is that you have to be willing to make mistakes. I am not coming here to tell you that every single one of my Facebook parties is qualifying, because they aren't, okay? There are so many variables that go into a Facebook party, and the biggest one is your host, right? How motivated is your host to be able to have this party? So let me make sure I'm not skipping anything. So if you've seen, I have a video on Facebook and on my business page, which Jill talked about earlier, and if you've missed that one, you need to watch that one, about Facebook parties. So I'm going to talk about some of the same things, but I'm hoping that I can go a little bit more in depth to give you a little bit more content. So the first thing that I want to touch on is Hostess Coaching. You cannot assume, and this is just for anything, right? Catalog parties, home parties. You can't just assume that oh, she made it in here. Hi. You can't just assume that your host knows what to do. Oh, you already have a cookie, so I can't give you a cookie. You can't assume that your host knows what to do, right? You have to be able to give him or her, someone asked where the group is. It is up in the top. Like once you finish watching this, there's a link up in the original post. There's a banana. You want a banana? You have to be able to tell them exactly what you expect for them. You want to take her? Here's a banana.
Yeah.
Go see Arlo.
Come on. You want to go make some cookies?
Okay. So you have to tell them exactly what you want them to do. So if you want them to post on their personal page, you have to tell them that that's what you want them to do. If you want them to invite a certain amount of people, you have to tell them that's what you want them to do. You also have to tell them what you are going to do, right? So that way they don't go all crazy posting because they don't know that you're going to do it for them, right? You want to make this as easy as possible for them, right? And that is why I try to make things super, super simple. And a little side tip is I keep everything in a Google Doc. I know some people keep it in Dropbox, but Google Docs are amazing. It's just like Word, but you can use it anywhere. So let's just say, like my family and I are going to the fair this afternoon, and let's say I completely forgot that I have a party. While they're on the Ferris wheel, I can pull up Google Docs and I can copy and paste what I normally send and send that to my host. So that is one tip. I love keeping everything, and even the images that I send through, yes, keep it Scentsy simple. Even the images that I send, I keep that in my Google Doc. Okay, so these are a couple of things that I have found. And actually, let me back up. So I have tested my Hostess Coaching. And a little tip, my Hostess Coaching is in the online parties group. You can find it there. But I want to tell you guys, oh, I'm going to die. Let me plug in. Okay. I hosted a party sometime last year for another company, and this person gave me 0 hostess coaching, okay? Nothing. And I was like, oh man, she's not telling me what to do. So I was like, you know what? This is the perfect time for me to test out my hostess coaching, right? So I went through and I did everything that I tell my host to do, right? I was the perfect host. And let me tell you, I was able to increase my RSVPs and the sales of that party by over 200% each by using my hostess coaching. So what I like to do is I encourage my host to post on her personal page either I'm having a party or I'm thinking about having a party, depending on what her mindset is. Because sometimes they're like, I don't know if my friends are going to want to come, or I don't know if I have anybody. Sorry, yeah, I'm very expressive. I don't know if I'm going to have anybody to come. So I always say, okay, either post on your personal page, I'm having a Scentsy party, or I'm thinking about having a Scentsy party next Thursday. Who would want an invite, right? So those people that say that they want to invite, they get the invite first, right? So that takes a little, the pressure off of the host to have to actually message or try to pull people to come. There's going to be people that are going to tell you they want to come no matter what, right? So that is first. And I always encourage either a picture or, a video if they're up for it, or I've had some really, really hilarious people. They've taken a picture of themselves with a candle and saying, I need to get rid of this. Come have a Scentsy party with me. Like, they're just hilarious. And Snapchat filters have changed the game when it comes to stuff like that. So that's the first thing. Also, the day of the party, I encourage them to send a message to every single person that they invited. And I personally like to use Snapchat. It's hilarious. And it's super fast, right? Like, hey, don't forget, I'm having a Scentsy party tonight. It's going to be less than 30 minutes, or it's going to be an hour long, whatever your party is. Just do a really quick video, and you can send that video to everybody. Okay? It's a reminder, and it's super, super easy. So that's the second thing. The third thing that I like for them to do is I like for them to do a last minute post. And sometimes these last minute posts get the most some of our biggest spenders come from this last minute post. So I encourage them again to either post a picture or do a video. If they have kids, I encourage them to have their kids smell a bar, like, oh, we're running out, we need more. Just something that is going to catch attention. And we all know that video goes really high in the algorithm, so their friends and family will see it much faster. So I always try to encourage them to do video. So that is the main tips that I want to share with you with Hostess Coaching for Facebook parties. And I like to use video for Hostess Coaching too. I have one that I update every season, every catalog season, so that way it's not the same one over and over again. But it's a static video, it's short, it's sweet, and it is in my phone, and I just send it to them, and that's it. And what I tell them before I send it to them is I say, you know what? I'm going to send you my top tips that my most successful hosts have used in the past, right? So that right there is saying, okay, if I follow these directions, I will most likely be successful, right? And usually when they do, they are. Okay, the second tip that I wanted to share is less is more. How many times have you come to a party or gone to a Facebook party or even been invited to a Facebook party where there's hundreds of people, right? That does not feel very exclusive, or like the host thought, I really want Kimberly to come to this. This person just invited their entire friends list. So I always encourage my host to invite anywhere between 25 and 50 people. And 50 people is if like they've got an extensive friends list, right? 25 is a good amount. And I say, I want you to think, and we all know Franks, right? Friends, relatives, acquaintances, neighbors, kids, friends, parents, social media friends, significant others, contacts. So really think of those people and who do you think would really like to come to this party, not just inviting everybody. I can't. Oh, come here, come here. Hi. They want to see you anyway. Hi, my messy hair. So you want to invite less people, and I know that sounds counterproductive to a lot of people because you want as many eyeballs as possible on your party, right? That's not the case. Whenever you get invited to a party and there are so many people, a lot of people will probably end up backing out, or it might get overwhelming. So the less people, it's actually the opposite effect. More people will be engaged and more people will actually be commenting, and they'll feel special, like they were invited. Now, another tip with that is that, remember before we talked about the post that was on the Facebook page, who wants an invite first? So those people get invited before any messages ever go out. I know, look. So those people get invited first. So that way, whenever your host does send messages or invites out, the people who get the invite, they can say, oh, there's people who are already going to this, and they know that they see that, go see Arlo. They see that other people want to go, right? So it's kind of like, just let her say, it's okay. It's okay. They see that other people want to go, right? So they want to go. It's kind of like whenever you're driving down the highway and there's a wreck on the highway, you're going to slow down to see what's going on. It's the same thing. Whenever you see people that, like, there's 20 people who have RSVP'd, you're going to be like, oh, well, these people must know something that I don't, so I should probably kind of hang around and see what's going on. All right, so less is more. Now, the next piece, how long have I been on? I don't have another clock anywhere to tell me. Okay. The next piece is personal and purposeful content. So a lot of times I go to parties and I see posts that say 2 days until the party, 1 day until the party, today's party day. That is what we like to call, I know, an empty post, right? Nothing is going to happen to that post. The people you've invited to that party aren't going to say, oh my gosh, I'm so excited, right? Your host might, but no one's going to engage on those posts. You should always post, same thing with Facebook in general. You should only post things that are going to get engagement. And engagement is either going to be a thumbs up or a comment, right? So that is purposeful, right? You want to post things to elicit. Okay, Thank you. That is going to elicit engagement, because when people engage, it's going to boost it up in your algorithm and people are going to see it. So what are types of engagement that we can do? I like to do a poll. We used to have the fragrance finder where you could choose, what is it, spicy or fruity or floral. So I had that. I say, what type of scent do you normally gravitate towards? And I have those in the poll options. So whenever they click whichever one, that counts as engagement. Same thing, one of my favorite ones is who wore it better. I love to Google red carpet fail, and I scroll through and I see if any of them could remotely look anything like any of the warmers that we have. And then I just slap my face on there. It's super easy, and I have a video that I can put down below to show you how I do stuff like that. But right, people might not comment on that, but they're gonna get a laugh, right? That's funny, and that is silly, right? And so that's one of the first things that I post on, or that's the first engagement post that I post on Facebook parties, because it breaks the ice, right? You want people to laugh, like, oh, she's silly, this is gonna be fun. Who wore it better? You also wanna ask questions, right? If you already have a Scentsy warmer, how do you change your wax? And I like to say, are you a soaker-upper, a scooper-outer, a popper-outer, or a pour in the trasher, right? That's funny. Plus, they're also going to tell you what they do, and you're also going to be able to find out if someone doesn't already have a Scentsy warmer, right? Almost everything that I post has my face on it. Kind of how Jill was talking about earlier, you are your brand, right? And a lot of people were saying, oh, well, purple's been my color. Like, I love purple. Well, me too. Like, my birthstone is amethyst. I love purple. And I went to high school where we were purple and white. So I literally bleed purple, and this is just the company that I happen to fall in love with. But so purple is one of my colors, but it's not my main color, right? So you have to find colors and things that resonate with you and then use that throughout your party. So if you go to my Facebook page, you'll see teal. Teal is my main color. I love teal. So you'll see teal and purple and pink all throughout my parties. But I put my face on everything. And one of my favorite things to give an example of is, you guys know when you go to a Facebook party, there's always a post that says what you need for a Facebook party. And then there's a picture of a Coke, and then there's a picture of some chips or wine, and then there's a picture of a phone, or, right? We all use those, right? We've all used those. I've used those in the past. But what is more eye-catching and makes you stand out is whenever you sit up in your bed yourself and you're holding a drink and you're holding a bag of chips and you have your computer in your lap and you set your phone on a timer and you take a picture of yourself, right? That right there is a perfect, what do you need for this party picture? And it speaks volumes, I promise. I know. So the next thing, and if I can tell you anything, I try to keep my parties as close to a home party as possible. So my tip number 4, I know, that's what I told them. My 4th tip is Google Forms. So Google Forms tends to scare a lot of people, but they are so simple to use. So along those same lines of keeping it with like a home party, whenever you're at a home party, when it's time to check out, you aren't just going to go up to somebody like, all right, here's my computer, go ahead, here's my website, you can place your order and I'll be over here, right? We don't do that, right? When someone is, someone's ready to check out, you sit down with them and you help them fill out their order form, or if they've already filled it out, you look at it, you try to bundle, you try to upsell, or hey, you've only chose 5 bars, you actually get another one for free. What scent would you like to get for free? I know. So it's the same thing, right? You don't want to just send someone to your website, because I tell you what, we know our websites like the back of our hands, right? Whenever you go to another party, any other company, we don't know where stuff is. We don't really know where the sales section is. So we know our website best. So if someone comes and wants to get 2 warmers and 6 bars of wax, well, we know that we can combine and save that. We know that we can save them money. So whenever people use a Google form, it's the same thing as the order form. Same information, just without the credit card information. Name, address, email address, and then I have a little box that says, what do you want to order? You can also include on there, you know, do you want to join? Do you want to host? Things like that. But anyway, once you have the information, then you can shoot a message on Facebook and say, or even a voice message, say, hey, I got your order. I see you only chose 5 bars. I can actually get you another one for free. What scent would you like, right? So that is how I use Google Forms, and it is seriously one of the best things that I have found is Google Forms. And another tip with Google Forms too is that you can set the notifications to where whenever someone fills out a form, it notifies you, so that way you're not having to check it. It actually sends you an email, which is pretty awesome. Okay, and the last piece of information, the last tip, okay, is about video. Now I know that video is not high on everybody's I'm gonna do it list, right? It's not, let's face it. But we know that video and live video gets you bumped up super, super high, right? In the algorithms. So I wanna read you this quote. And it's from one of my favorite video people, Carrie Driscoll Tech, or she works at Driscoll Tech. Her name is Carrie Driscoll. What? So this says, videos increase product knowledge by 70%. 90% of people say that watching a video helped them to decide to make a purchase. Of 90%, 64% of those were convinced to make a purchase. So those numbers are insane, okay? They are insane. So what I like to do is, at some point during the party, like the days leading up, I like to go live. And I do like to keep my lives very short, because if you didn't know, attention span of a human is only 8 minutes, and of a millennial, it's only 5 minutes. So I'm really kind of surprised that there's still people watching this. 5 minutes is what a millennial's... I've already lost it, right? Is what our attention span is. So I like to showcase the diffuser, okay? The diffuser is our highest price item, right? So that is what people are going to purchase, a high price item when they can't touch it, feel it, see it themselves. So I try to do that one live so people can actually see it, and they can see that it changes colors, and that you can use other companies' oils if you already have your favorite. And there's an auto shut-off, and there's a lifetime warranty, right? So you can have those conversations through live, and it's super fast, super quick. But that is pretty much it. So if you were coming here to hopefully get a template, or, you know, like what I said earlier, I'm sorry I wasn't able to give that to you, because you need to be you. And I will tell you, I have done every single type of Facebook party. My parties have lasted a week. I've had parties that lasted 2 hours, an hour. It doesn't matter, right? You have to find what works for you and then rock it out. And you have to know that you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna have bombs. But then again, you're also going to have some really amazing sales too. And you're going to make some pretty amazing friends, because there are people who I have met that live on the other side of the country where I would not have met if it wouldn't have been for a Facebook party of someone who booked, right? So Facebook parties can be very, very powerful, and it opens very, very amazing doors. So I will link some how-to videos that I have, like how to make graphics and how to make a Google form, down below. My Hostess Coaching one that talks about the percentages. I'll link all that down below so you can watch those if and when you get time. But if you guys have any questions, put it down below and I will answer them as soon as I can. But thank you guys for jumping on and hanging out with us. And make sure you take the opportunity to check out those opportunities to donate, because they are some really, really amazing causes. So I will see you guys later. Bye.